Hi, this is Gordon. I am going to read a story. The story's called The Pecan Tree. Now follow along in the book, okay? And whenever you hear this sound, turn the page. And when you come to the end of the record, remember this. Be sure to turn the record over to the other side, okay? Now all you have to do is open the book. The Pecan Tree, written by Matt Robinson, illustrated by Robert Velde. Many, many years ago, in a tiny village filled with tiny little people, there lived a man named Agriculture Carter. That was the man's name, Agriculture Carter. And what agriculture did all the time was to grow things. He grew all kinds of things: carrots, cucumbers, kale, and hot peppers, anything that would not grow too large, because this was a tiny little village and there wasn't much room. But one day, Agriculture Carter became tired of all those teeny tiny vegetables and decided to plant a pecan tree. And he did. And that tree grew and grew and grew until it grew so large that it spread all over the village. Not only that, but the pecans were so big that when they fell off the tree, they were like big rocks from the sky, and they crashed down on the tops of the little houses, and not a man, not a woman, not a child in the village was safe from the giant pecan tree. Very soon, all of the villagers held a meeting, and they told Agriculture Carter that his pecan tree had to go. And they meant every word they said. So there was nothing else for Agriculture to do but to get rid of his tree. But the tree was so big that he couldn't cut it down himself. He had to have some help. Now, the best axe man in the village was Axe Handle Harris. Axe Handle said that he tree, but then Chopping Chisholm, the hatchet man, said he could cut down the tree faster than Axe Handle Harris. And while they argued about that, Ripsaw Simmons said he could saw down the tree faster than Axe Handle Harris or Chopping Chisholm. Well, for 4 days and 4 nights, they argued and argued about who could cut down the tree the fastest. And in the meantime, those heavy pecans were smashing every roof in the village. Finally, Agriculture Carter had an idea. He would give Axe Handle Harris a turn to cut down the tree. Then Chopping Chisholm could take a turn. Then Ripsaw Simmons could take a turn. the villagers didn't know what else to do, so they took his advice and they all tiptoed out to the tree with their eyes peeled for falling pecans. Axe-Handle Harris was first. Now, Axe-Handle Harris swung a mean axe. And when he laid into that tree, you could hear the sound for miles around. The wonk, the wonk, the wonk. Axe-Handle Harris thwonked away at that tree until he could thwonk no more. Axe-Handle Harris thwonked a large piece out of that pecan tree, but the tree was so big, it was still standing. So, Chopping Chisholm took a turn. Now, you may have seen tough hatchet men. You may have even seen Hatchet Hutchinson, but you have never seen a hatchet man like Chopping Chisholm. When he whacked that tree with his hatchet, bluebirds flying 10 miles away turned around to see what the noise was. He whacked and whacked and whacked and whacked until he could whack no more. Chopping Chisholm whacked an even larger piece out of that pecan tree, but the tree was so big, it was still standing. Next came Ripsaw Simmons, and man, could he saw. Folks still talk about that hot summer day when Simmons took his saw in one hand and an ice cream cone in the other, sawed down 4 oak trees and a telephone pole and ate the ice cream cone at the same time. Ripsaw Simmons could saw. Now it was his turn at the pecan tree. He sawed, and he sawed, and he sawed, and he sawed until he could saw no more. Ripsaw Simmons sawed an even larger piece out of that pecan tree, but the tree was so big, it was still standing. Finally, just as everyone was about to give up and go home, Agriculture Carter walked over and leaned on the tree. And do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? The tree fell down. Everybody cheered and grabbed Agriculture Carter and lifted him up on their shoulders, but Agriculture Carter said, "Oh no, I did not do that by myself. Axe-Handle Harris did some, Chopping Chisholm did some more, Ripsaw Simmons did even more, and I just finished it all. You see, we all got together and we did it." So the villagers lifted all 4 men up on their shoulders and ran off to the baker's for 40 pounds of pie crust for a giant pecan pie.